So a little while ago, I made a video about Don't Nod's new game coming out later this year, Lost Records Bloom and Rage. And while we don't have any more footage or gameplay, we did get a little something, an interview with Eurogamer. So if you didn't know, Don't Nod pulled out of Life is Strange. I mean, it's been known for a little bit. I mean, technically, when they stopped working with Square Enix. So creative director, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm just gonna say Akash? And executive producer Luke Bagadoo, I'm so sorry guys, got the opportunity to start a new branch in Don't Nod Entertainment, Don't Nod Montreal, and they're working on Lost Records right now. So here's some of the stuff they were talking about in the interview. We really love what we did on Life is Strange and Life is Strange 2, but as you know, the IP is owned by Square Enix, and at a point we can only do what they want to do with the franchise. Don't Nod Studio, creative director, and game director, Kosh, told me of the split between Don't Nod and the franchise they created. We work with them as the publisher, we sold them the franchise when we created it. Now they own it and decide how it evolves and where it goes. So Square Enix owns the Life is Strange IP, and since they have a stake in it and Don't Nod couldn't just do what they wanted with the franchise, they kind of sold their half. I mean, they really sold it when they first started, but they sold the whole IP is sold to Square Enix. As far as we know, Deck 9 is now in charge of development of the next Life is Strange game, and if you see my most recent video on Life is Strange, you'll know that if the rumors are true, at least that game series is in good hands. But anyways, so how did this all come to be? So it says, we've had this opportunity to create this studio on the basis that we wanted Bagadoo, the game's executive producer, tells Digital Trends now, for the first time we can build a strategy regarding how we're going to make this a studio dedicated to this franchise. We shape the way we work, the creative, the team, the production, the tools, the tech, everything is made towards this goal. It's the Lost Records franchise, but it's also the Don't Nod Montreal project. So they're all in on this new game becoming a whole franchise, taking what they learned with Life is Strange and kind of hopefully amping it up. But continuing with the article, it says, set to launch later this year, Don't Nod Montreal's new narrative adventure game Lost Records Bloom and Rage is centered around 4 teenage girls in the 1990s, with a second timeline following their adult lives in the present day. Clearly, Lost Records shares plenty of Life is Strange's DNA, with a focus on young adult friendships and a similar dose of magical realism. There's also, this time around, a plan for the series and its characters to continue, something the original Life is Strange ending was not written with in mind. It's an adventure game, Kosh says, so you have the staples of the genre. We've had it before with choices, dialogue options, environmental storytelling, and exploration. You will feel at home with that, said Kosh. That said, Kosh acknowledges it's also been several years since their last game, and his team is keen to have not let the grass grow under their feet. How can we make the player have agency in a different way? How can we improve interactivity? How can we invent new dialogue systems or ways for players to interact with the game? For now, the answers to those questions lie under wraps, though it's reassuring to hear that these are questions being considered. So yes, it's been quite a while since Don't Nod has worked on Life is Strange. I mean, the last game they worked on was Life is Strange 2, and the last episode for Life is Strange 2 released in December of 2019. So it's been a minute, but I like that they said that they want to take what they learned and evolve it, doing what Life is Strange did, but kind of in a brand new way, which is super exciting. But getting back to the article, it says, with this game, we're also setting up the cornerstones of maybe something bigger, where we can directly write those characters in a way where we know we can bring them back, where we can have other stories with those characters, with the world and universe we're creating. We already know where we could go in the future to tell other stories within the same setting and the same set of characters in the future if things go well. But balancing the ability for players to make seismic choices, like the ending of Life is Strange 1, which split a game's narrative with the desire to continue and pick up diverging story threads. It's not easy. Other game series have struggled, but Don't Nod Montreal are not put off. We will have really different endings in the game, with a lot of player agency. I'm still really proud of the Bay or Bay ending, and how you definitely create two paths that are very different with your decisions. And we want to keep this kind of agency for players where they feel they have defined parts of the story and that they have a real voice with their character and within the story of the game. How will Bloom and Rage do this? Don't Nod Montreal isn't quite ready to say, but the hints I got sounded intriguing. We are working with some ways and elements in the storytelling that will allow us to still go back to games even if there are different branches. It's a balance to find because, of course, We cannot make one game that has X number of endings, then the next game you have to start with X different starting points. We have to find ways to come back to common links because we cannot make an infinity of branches. But we know we have ways with storytelling to make that happen that will still feel very powerful for the players. We should reveal some of that at a later date. Love to hear that. Bloom and Rage features 4 main characters, but Kosh told me that the game would again feature a single protagonist character for players to get to know and help shape. I feel like sometimes when you switch the point of view, you get disconnected, Kosh says. Of story-based games where you control multiple characters, it gives more of a feeling being a mastermind storyteller rather than caring about the one character. We really want to focus on you finding your place within this group of friends. This is even more important in Lost Records Bloom and Rage as the story hinges on the characters, relationships not just as teenagers, but their adult life as well. Something Kosh notes is completely new for his team. Again, if I'm butchering that name, sorry about that. You will get the adult's point of view, whereas in our previous games, it was always teenagers, he says. We're getting older ourselves and our audience is growing up and getting older. And we were thinking it was interesting to still talk about teenagers, but also showcase another point of view. Like, how do you reflect on who you were as a teenager growing up today? Doing so requires a strong knowledge of your characters and the ability to craft them authentically, especially in this case, with a main cast that's all female. Kosh adds that Don't Nod references the strengths and shortcomings of Life is Strange gameplay. As it created Lost Records, he praises the rewind mechanic in Life is Strange 1 for offering that agency and critiqued Life is Strange 2's distance from those power-based consequences even though it was thematically appropriate. With Lost Records Bloom and Rage, Don't Nod wants to lean into giving players more agency. Something that we're trying to push more is giving the feeling of more agency to our players with our dialogue system. We make sure that you feel more connected with your character when you're talking rather than just watching an interactive movie, he says. Immediately, we reward that interaction with the controller so you feel like you're playing the game and not just playing a character who then makes the game evolve. So with all that being said, we're going to play as one main character and we have a main cast of 4 girls. And the game takes place in the 1990s from the trailer. It looks like July of 1995, and of course some will take place when they're adults as well. And learning their lessons from Life is Strange, they want to make this game more interactive. So we know we're going to get, kind of different dialogue options, the chance to explore more environmental storytelling, diverse endings, and 2 timelines, teenage timeline and the adult timeline. I mean, it sounds super sick. I can't wait to see more. So from the looks of it, they're taking this new game and making it their baby, essentially, turning it into probably what they always wanted to do for Life is Strange, bringing characters back, which I wish Life is Strange did a little more, and evolving the gameplay. I'm honestly super hyped for this game, but I will stay skeptical until we get a little more. Talk is cheap, of course. And all we have is the little 1-minute trailer, but from what I read and what I've seen, I mean, it looks good. I mean, what do you think? Does it sound good? Are you excited for Lost Records Bloom and Rage? Let me know in the comments below, but I think it sounds and looks pretty good so far. But anyways, that's all I got for you today. If you made it this far in the video, you are awesome. And if you liked what you saw and you want to see more, you know what to do. We would love to have you. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe to see more stuff that I have done and what's to come. But anyways, thanks for coming, and thanks for watching.